Dead meme.
Hey guys, back to play a little bit of Valheim. I want to do a general guide to the Dark Wood and cover many of the key items and tools that you acquire at this stage. We don't want to cover everything because the video will be a half an hour long, but let's jump into it. So you've defeated Eikthyr. You've created the Bone Antler pick. This allows you to mine metals and deform the terrain, but there is one question: what do you do with all that metal you're going to find? Well, you're going to have to visit these dungeons or these crypts. This is an example of one. If you go in here, as you can see, you can enter it. And here's another example of what one of these crypts might look like. You'll notice that there's skeletons commonly defending them, and we'll move a little bit closer in free fly mode with the camera. Now, I scared the bird away. There is a black bird that lands near many structures, and that will let you know that you're near like ruins or potentially a crypt. When you enter a crypt, something I like to do is just put down a little campfire, and if you sit down in here, you're able to get a comfort of 3 due to the campfire and it being a sheltered location. So this makes you can get rid of the wet debuff if you got it, which harms your stamina, and you can also have a rested state, which makes life a little bit easier for you. So this is the prize while you're down here. You're looking for these Surtling cores. They're sitting on these stands, commonly in little end rooms. While we're here, though, there's little bits of ember and ember pearl and treasure boxes filled with currency-related items, sometimes a little bit of treasure. Something to keep in mind. But while we're in here, we might as well discuss the enemies. Skeletons are weak against blunt damage. They're not all that deadly. This is where they'll spawn. Basically, if there's not enough of them around, their ranks will be replenished. Skeletons can have a star value and various different kinds of weapons. So it's just something to keep in mind while you're exploring in here. Having a shield with you and a torch may be a good idea depending on your brightness settings. So now that we have Surtling cores, you'll be able to make the charcoal kiln and the smeltery. So let's take a look at what these metals look like out in the world. So that's what copper looks like at a distance. It looks a lot like the normal stone. So one way you can kind of tell for sure, if you get on top of it, it'll let you know that it is a copper deposit. Now another thing to keep in mind, you're going to need tin as well to make bronze and some of the other pieces of equipment. And this is the kind of thing you're looking for, where there's a little bit of water. You're typically going to find some tin. This is a rather unlucky run, but I believe there's some tin deposits. They appear on the coastlines and near little rivers and things like that. So you'll need to mine these up with your new pickaxe, take them home to smelt them. So once you've acquired Surtling cores, you'll be able to build the charcoal kiln and the smelter. And this is the charcoal kiln. You can just put wood in there that you get from basically mining. These are what the ores look like that you get from smashing those ore deposits. And this is the smelter. So one side of the smelter allows you to place in smeltable items, and you can mix the copper and the tin in there. It doesn't really matter, but the coal goes in on this side. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. It takes 2 coal to make 1 metal, and it will slowly deposit them out, just like the charcoal kiln is doing over there. Now, as we could see, the metal's just kind of falling out of this thing, but I've spawned a little bit in just so I could show you the next few steps. So I have everything unlocked because it's in debug mode, but you won't have this option. By approaching your forge, you'll be able to create bronze ingots, 2 copper, 1 tin, and you get 1 ingot. I know it's dumb, but it is what it is. And this will basically provide you the bronze required in order to produce the next set of tools. So with new materials, will basically provide us with new construction options. So as you can see, I have various support structures around each of the 2 types of crafting stations that are available. So I can make this upgrade for the forge using bronze. I can make this out of copper. That is an upgrade that's made from bronze for your workstation, and you can see what they belong to. Do that little trail. So increasing the star level of a station by improving its work support units around it will allow you to upgrade an item further in this tab, so you can make it better than what you currently have, as well as it will unlock certain recipes. But the big one with tin, you'll be able to make this cooking station. And of course you won't be able to make rag tunics and whatnot in a normal cooking station, but this will allow you to make some of the first more advanced food. So once you've made a few new meals, such as your Queen's Jam, which is made with berries that are found in the dark wood, and we'll get a bit into those in a bit, as well as some deer stew and some carrot soup. These are a more advanced food. They do more healing over time, and they also give more health and stamina compared to any other food that you've encountered at this point in time. So this is definitely worth making. So while we're here, talking about carrots, you'll need to be able to make a cultivator, which is my number 6 slot there. And this will allow you to plant various seeds and whatnot that you find in the world. So this is what the carrots look like. You can only find these in the dark wood. Sometimes they kind of spill over into adjacent biomes, but I wouldn't count on that. So the carrots, when you pick them, you only get the seeds. You get 3. You'll need to start the cycle of growing them with your cultivator. So you put them in the earth and just kind of wait. And once you have 3 carrots from your seeds, you'll be able to replant the carrots as a seedling. So you lose the carrot, but you'll get that flower that gives 3 seeds. So it's a bit of work, but it is what it is. So a notable advancement you get with the bronze tools is the bronze axe. This will allow you to finally cut down those birch trees and get, of course, yet another kind of material. And of course, occasionally the seeds. A few other additional items that we should talk about are thistles. They don't have a direct use right off the hop when you first get here, but they're used to make meads. And these blueberries, this is the only place where you can get these. And of course, these blueberries will be a crafting material, not just for food, but for furniture. An additional support item for crafting is the fermenter. Basically, this is used to turn certain items that are created in this cooking pot, such as mead bases. So let's take a look. So we'll say tasty mead. So right away, it doesn't have any direct use. You can't consume this. And as you can see, it says my fermenter's too exposed. So basically, all you need to do to make this functional is create some sort of awning on it. It will function, and this will create various kinds of things similar to as an effect to a potion, like poison resistance, healing over time, increased stamina regen, things like that. I'll leave it to you to experiment and see what you like, as if we went through it all, we'd be here all day. And finally, there are 2 new ways to carry a great deal of equipment around. You could make this little cart. You could make it in the miscellaneous tab. It'll take you at least 1 set of bronze nails, and it'll take about half of them. And you could repair this thing as long as you're at a crafting station. So there's no weight limit on this, but the more things that you put in here, the heavier things get, and the harder it'll get to move it. So you just look here, and you can drag the cart away with you, not sacrificing your weight. So you can essentially carry more than you should be able to. And here's the carve. This will take a fair number of bronze nails to make. I believe it's 80. And a bunch of resin and fine wood. And this will allow you to pretty much sail. So I've done a video on how to sail and the various ships, so we're not going to get too deep into that. But this is the first mode of transportation that you could use to cross the ocean that is safe, because there are threats out there that if your ship isn't fast enough, you will be sunk. There are additional structures in the Darkwood. This is a troll cave. You can commonly find trolls in and around it. This is a relatively dangerous enemy, but I do recommend getting the bow and killing them for the various components they drop. And while we're here, this brute is the enemy you're going to be killing in order to acquire seeds, or you can smash these little nests. You see the little seeds on the side. You need these to summon the boss. So I'm going to make a video on the boss by itself to prevent large-scale spoiling and the preparation and whatnot that you should do to do that will be in that video. I don't want this to go too long, as it already is. And I think we can finish off here. So this is the troll armor and the bronze armor. This is when you first start getting sets of gear that kind of take different paths. As you advance through the various biomes, you're going to have some armors that provide more protection versus maybe poison, or greater armor, or in like the troll's case, it's more stealth. So I'll let you experiment with that. It will be here all day. We covered all of that. But just to keep in mind as well, there are bronze versions of many of the weapons you know and love, such as the bronze spear. So I showed you the flint spear in the past. There is now a sword which becomes available, and of course the mace, which does club damage or blunt damage. So, and of course now we get a tower shield, which is not as good for parrying, and you're a little bit slower. But I prefer buckler and sword or mace. And just a good tip: a good sword and mace skilled up before you go to the next biome is probably a good idea. But I think for the most part, that gives you an idea of what to expect in this biome. And if you liked the video, or if you found it helpful, a like or a sub would be really cool. If you want to maybe throw a comment down on something that maybe I should have covered that I didn't, go for it. And again, thanks for showing up.